some practitioners sort of grab onto a meditation object and like hold on really tight and push away all of their thoughts and like, you know, have this samadhi that's wrong. And I was like, what's wrong with that? Aren't we supposed to sort of uh, be free of thought and stick with a particular meditation object and experience the wholesome sort of relief of that continuity of attention and emotional positivity therein? Those are my thoughts. Um, like, and I was like, where's the micha? And you know, this, I do see the sort of grabbing onto the object at the expense of thought, but that sounds like ill will, and inherently ill will cannot be in a state of samadhi, because by definition samadhi arises when the hindrances have subsided. So I was like, this is only not adding up. And so I was like, what is this micha samadhi? And she was like, took some back and forth, but eventually it became clear it's having this state of non-thought and continuity of object, but not holding right view and right intention and the wisdom component prior to sort of entering into that state. So like basically it's samadhi outside the context of the Eightfold Path. So for example, I'm thinking, I was like, okay, how could that even be? When could I experience that? And I was like, oh, like maybe singing. Like people are into music, I think, for the same reason. It like their thoughts subside and they like enter this state, and then sort of like secular flow state maybe would be an example of this micha samadhi, where like, yeah, we've got the flow state, but we don't have the sort of background wisdom informed by wisdom of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self in the context of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, and sort of incorporating all of that into the system before having samadhi, and then using samadhi towards nibbana, towards this moment of like insight, which is actually liberating and not just a sort of daily, you know, joy, a relative daily joy of, you know, being in flow or something like that. It's this like permanent transformation of insight, of being, I'd say, something like that. Yeah, I mean, I love the sort of pointer of like, okay, you said these three qualities in the context of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Like, what does that mean? So like, my favorite way of putting it is like, okay, if I know that I want happiness in my heart, like that's my deepest desire in this universe, and I know that also everything in my experience is impermanent, right, up there, then why would I desire anything as, you know, this search for happiness? Because anything I desire to be this source of happiness will be unsatisfactory in light of impermanence. Anything that I sort of cling on to as self, as mine, as like, oh, this is my, you know, gem, this is my refuge. Anything I cling on to like that, as, you know, making it like a self, I suppose. It's just not gonna work. Like, it's not a sound way to go about it. Because the thing I've clung on to, I will become apart from. So, like, all right, well, if everything is like that, where is the refuge? And then it's like, okay, that thought pattern, that like line of questioning investigation is how to get to the answer. So, and then samadhi comes in at the end of like this sort of very wholesome, concentrated, like mental power, which can be directed towards that line of questioning and then can result in this, significant shift of insight. So I mean, I was sort of like trying to sort of map that onto Meichi's comments about samadhi, and it wasn't lining up until we went some back and forth, and I sort of came to those conclusions I've shared. So that was a rewarding moment of understanding between myself and this, like, experienced meditation master.